Reinhardt, it has to be 5K, though 7.5 won't work.
Okay.
Is what he said. So again, it just depends on the person.
$150 calls from, I think it's a victim while on the no contact order. And their jail calls from affidavit. That'll be 100,000. There's too many notes here.
Got you. I'll text this over.
Calls at immediately after. Call. Love that. Easy for you, but it's gonna have to be 100,000. But apparently Judge Manning knows this defendant.
You guys are buddies?
What's that?
You and one of the defendants. Apparently, I have some notes here that says Judge Manning specifically told him not to call victim. 7 calls immediately after the bond hearing where Judge Manning told him not to call. 115 calls from jail to the victim. You and him are buddies.
Is that a stalking?
No, it's a aggravated battery.
Enthusiasm, which
115 calls? That's a lot.
a lot of enthusiasm.
The best is how it's all my notes are Judge Manning specifically states that she'll deny bond for now. It's your name's all over my notes. So you warned him. I love when they call on secures too, like we don't track those. That's my favorite. Yeah, he's gonna have to be 100,000.
I'm texting Kazuli now.
And you said Reinhardt.
Would have to be 5.
Okay. Let me just take a look.
Judge Manny, I wanted to let you know also that I have a presiding hearing at 10, but I just may have to step out really quick to do that. But Mr.
Sure.
Lang is there and he's going to tell me when I actually get called.
Sure.
Thank you.
Have they brought him out? I just can't see him.
No, he's not
Okay.
out yet.
Okay. Ms. Watts, maybe you can ask Aaron again.
Okay.
I wish my other two was displayed that picture.
The camera's all over the city.
Yeah.
There was shooting at our home last night. Someone was trying to defend their car from being broken in. It's shots. A lot.
Maybe like this call.
Yeah, I mean, I guarantee you I'll see it in a minute.
Like Instagram.
Darren Farmer. I got you. Do you have Reinhardt or Sykes? Can I speak with Reinhardt really quick? She's on there. Yes. You knew that.
Good morning, Judge.
Morning.
We got them all set for City of Atlanta. It's only two that we're waiting for.
Okay, is Darren Farmer back there yet or no?
No, that's the one I just asked. No, he's not. Your Honor, is it okay if I go back to speak with the other two? Mr. Cazzoli got back to me, so I just want to run it by them.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Officers, thanks for being patient. We'll get you guys out of here as quickly as we can. Miss Patton, no one worked overnight, right?
No one worked overnight. No one's off. No one has kids. No one is type O blood. I asked all the questions.
Other questions. Is there anyone who doesn't want to be here? Well, keep your hands down.
They said they all want to be here, and each of them said I could go last with them. So I guess everyone's having a good time today.
Excellent.
People just come up.
I went to John's Creek actually.
Oh, okay.
You had a lot of options.
Yeah, I used to.
I said yes to 5,000, Sykes said no. So if we want to bring Reinhardt out and just do that one, is that okay?
Yes, I actually have an officer here for Reinhardt.
Oh, that way we could let them get going.
Okay, hold
Does that
on.
work for you?
I have to hear his history first, though, remember?
Gotcha. Yeah.
Ms. Patton, I sent you and Ms. Beck an email.
Okay.
You informer.
I'm gonna, I got my biggest. So I won't be. Yeah.
Okay. Is that majority of our officers, or, excuse me, majority of our,
I believe that's only 2 of them.
okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure who's there.
I know Philip is.
Philip Joseph is Atlanta. He haven't got here yet.
So the 5,000 is okay, literally only based on history, though.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Your Honor, I believe that we're ready to go with Mr. Reinhardt.
Okay, position 4, Reinhardt, Landon Reinhardt.
Ready to go. It's really not bad. It's just, you know, we gotta do, I gotta do some lots, and that's really what pushed me to. Yeah, so that's all, yeah, that's really, I mean, we don't call, first on call not bad. We don't call once a month before a week. We, I gonna call and I'm gonna call it all. Oh, man.
That's Mr. Reinhardt, okay. It's position 4, 23 CP 217653, Landon Reinhardt, criminal damage to property in the 2nd degree. Go ahead, Ms. Patton.
Yes, Your Honor. I would need to hear from pretrial first. Me and Ms. Beck have discussed possible waiving of preliminary hearing for a reduction in bond, but as I discussed with Ms. Beck, that's based upon pretrial report.
All right, go ahead, pre-trial.
This defendant has 3 arrest cycles in Georgia with no convictions at this time. Nothing further to report.
What were the arrests for? Anything like this?
Let's see. Do you want me to just, nothing related to what he's currently,
Okay, well, the warrant was slashing his mom's tire, so I'm just trying to make sure that there's nothing that kind of looks like that.
well, it looks, nothing's been convicted. There are some arrests for battery, family violence, criminal trespass, family violence.
And that's all. Do you know, do you have the case number so I can look at, see who the victim is?
I don't have case, no, it just, this one, battery, family violence says it's out of Roswell. Well, both of those are, they're out of Roswell. It doesn't give me a, let me check, Odyssey, give me one moment.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I have 120 CR 004391E.
Okay.
And then 21 CP 1989-35.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, 1 minute. I'm just trying to look up and see who this victim is.
That's fine. My Odyssey's going a little slow today.
Oh, there's an ag assault on here too. Your Honor, would you mind if I pre-tried with Miss Beck really quickly?
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you. Okay, okay, okay. Your Honor, I believe we are going to go forward with a hearing on Mr. Reinhardt.
Okay. All right, we got the officer on the witness stand.
No, but I can have them come up. Officer Francis. Your Honor, my apologies. I thought Officer Francis was present. The state would be requesting a reset.
All right, go. All of that, okay.
We would be asking for a dismissal for one of prosecution, Your Honor. Has the state heard anything from Officer Francis?
I'm just text my investigator about it, so not as of right now. But the reason why our bond agreement didn't come to fruition is I looked through, he's got an ag assault against his mom. That's what this case is for. The other open case was against his mom as well. This defendant serves as a danger to the victim and a likelihood to reoffend as he has 3 open cases.
Open cases, no convictions, Your Honor.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like this one hasn't been on here before, so we'll give one reset. Is this an APD officer?
RPD,
RPD.
Roswell PD.
Okay. And what's the officer's name?
B. Francis, badge number 859.
All right. Miss Beck, I guess you don't know Mr. Cazzole's schedule. What the dates look like, Miss Watts?
July 5th at 9 a.m.
July 5th? Okay.
We can make sure someone will be there, Your Honor.
Okay.
Is this a one-time reset?
Yes, ma'am. One-time reset for officer to appear. Miss Miller?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, Judge.
Okay, what about, let's see. Well, we'll bring some out that aren't here real quick. Is Terry Daniels there? Do we know if Terry Daniels is in the back?
He's here, is what else he just said.
All right.
Officer's not present for this, so the state be asking for a reset, but I'll wait till
Okay.
defendant comes out.
Good, how are you? I'm filling in the list for Mr. Pizzoli's safety coordinator.
All right, this is position 2, Terry Daniels, 23 CP 217641, aggravated assault, battery, substantial harm, and misdemeanor theft by taking. Go ahead, Ms. Patton.
Yes, Your Honor, the state will be requesting a one-time reset. I did text my investigator to see about the subpoenas, but I do believe they were sent out timely, but I don't want to misrepresent to the court unless I have a confirmation. At this time, we will be requesting a reset to see if we can locate our officer.
Is this, let's see, is this APD? Let's see. This College Park.
College Park, J Ando, ANDO, badge number 2934.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Beck.
Thank you, Your Honor. We would be asking for dismissal for one of prosecution as the officer has not come to court today.
All right. All right, Madam Clerk, just one-time reset for the officer to appear. Is it still July 5th, 9 a.m., Ms. Watts?
No, Judge, it'll be July 6th at 1 p.m.
July 6th. July 6th, 1 p.m. I guess you don't know, Ms. Beck, but I'm assuming that's probably okay.
Someone will be able to be here for that, Your Honor.
If not, let us know. All right, so, sir, we'll see you on July 6th at 1 p.m. What about Kamari Sykes? You're doing good so far, Ms. Beck. Not gonna-
I have an officer. Nope, I don't. This is the one that you and I briefly discussed before.
I don't know who's here and who's not. Is Willie Williams here?
Yes, he's here.
He's here, Your Honor.
All right, Willie Williams, you'll bring him out? We don't have an officer on that one right now, do we?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Bless you.
Thank you. Thank
That
you.
was a sneeze, right?
Yeah. Yes, thank you.
Mr. Williams. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
All right, you're Willie Williams, right, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, it's position 6, 23 CP 217655, fleeing, attempting to elude, reckless driving, willful obstruction, and theft by shoplifting. Go ahead, Ms. Patton.
Yes, Your Honor. The state would be requesting a one-time reset for this case for officer attendance.
Ms. Beck.
Yes, Your Honor, we would be asking for a dismissal for one of prosecution. Has the state heard or had any contact with the officer?
Your Honor, I don't want to misrepresent to the court. Not as of right now.
All right, and this is the first. Looks like it's the first time on here.
He's on a $7,500 good bond.
Yeah, as of April.
Okay. Let me take a look at this really quickly.
We'll do the one-time reset, but I don't know, do you want to address bond again, Ms. Beck?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, go ahead. Preach. Willie Williams.
This defendant has 19 arrest cycles in Georgia beginning in 1999. Felony convictions in 2007 for robbery, 2014 theft by shoplifting, 2016 theft by shoplifting, FTAs in 2020 and 2021, probation violations in 2015, 2016, 2018, 2021, 2022, 2023, a parole violation in 2014. Nothing further to report.
All right, and it's 71 days without indictment. Go ahead, Ms. Beck.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Williams is 41 years old. He has a good address at 2415 Dresden Place in Macon, and he lives there with his mom and his aunt. He's lived there for the last 10 years roughly. He's a lifelong resident of Georgia. His whole entire family lives here in the state as well. He has 4 children, ages 21, 18, 18, and 17, all of whom live in Georgia. He went through the 11th grade. Prior to his arrest, he was unemployed, but prior to that, he was working at Cherokee Brick. And we are asking for a bond not to exceed $4,500, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Patton.
Yes, Your Honor. This defendant has been set a bond, which is reasonable based on this defendant's history. Pre-trial mentioned 19 cycles, multiple thefts on that history, multiple FDAs on that history, multiple probation and parole violations. $7,500 for these listed charges is reasonable, and the state would ask that you not lower it at this time.
Your Honor, I was also just made aware that Mr. Williams was accepted into We Are Living Proof and we would again request a bond that we would be able to get him into a program or get the bail project to pay for the bond so that he is able to go to the program.
Do you have a letter of acceptance?
I personally don't. He just told me this and like, unfortunately, he's not my client. I can ask Mr. Cazzoli for the letter of acceptance if that would help.
Okay. And if Your Honor is so inclined, if we get the letter of acceptance, then I will consent to $4,500 and a UJR to that program. If she can get it, I'm guessing she can get it probably before the end of the calendar anyway.
All right, let's see.
I just asked.
All right, how about this so far? No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 3695 Cascade Road Southwest in the city of South Fulton. No further contact with Aisha, Ayesha Murray, Murry. Let's see, we go back here. Now, the We Are Living Proof is here in Fulton County, right?
I believe so, Your Honor.
All right, yep, stay away from all Publix stores. I think I said stay away from 3695 Cascade Road Southwest in the city of Atlanta. 1,500, 500, and 3,000. Anything for Mr. Cazzola yet, Ms. Beck?
No, Your Honor. And as soon as he responds, I can let the court know.
All right, Madam Clerk, I guess what we'll do is just hold that and if we get the proof of the letter, then we'll do a UJR to that hold. If not, it'll just be that straight $5,000 good bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Right.
What is the reset date for that?
July 6th at 1 p.m.
Thank you.
July 6th.
At 1 p.m.
Yes, Judge.
All right, who we got next? Is there an officer here on Andrew Mayo? Is Andrew Mayo here?
There's no officer here on that one, Your Honor.
Okay. Unlike Friday when everybody was here.
Literally everyone showed up Friday.
Okay, so we're just waiting for him, but he's in court in another courtroom, which is why I'm covering for him. So once we hear back from him, hopefully we can get a UJR. Okay. She just hasn't finalized the paperwork. So yeah, it's like right now we're just like holding.
So we'll bring out Andrew Mayo, Ms. Beck.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Your Honor, while we're waiting, may I get Attorney Beck's first name, please?
Samantha.
Thank you, Counsel.
Mr. Mayo has a $13,000 good bond as of April the 14th. This is position 723 CP 217657 Andrew Mayo, possession of cocaine, BGCSA, purchase, possession, or have control of a controlled substance in Schedule 1 or 2, giving false information to a law enforcement officer, driving with suspended or revoked license, an obscured or missing license plate. Go ahead, Ms. Patton.
Yes, Your Honor. The state would be requesting a one-time reset for APD Officer Augustin, badge number 7872. Again, as stated, I believe subpoenas were timely sent out, so we would just ask for a reset so we could secure officers' presence.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Beck.
We would be asking for dismissal for one of prosecution, Your Honor.
One-time reset only for the officer to appear. You want to go ahead and address bond again? So it was addressed in May.
When is
April, sorry.
Here, I got you, Your Honor. When is the reset date? Because
July 7th at 1 p.m.
I believe we'll just wait till then if that's okay, Your Honor.
Oh, okay, you don't want me to go ahead. I usually do it downward, but you don't want that? Okay. I usually chip away at it, but okay.
I understand.
Because I think he's got. Yeah, okay. All right, July
We've got some
7th.
open probation things. That's why I'm not. We did that. Okay. There's some probation things going on that we're trying to resolve as well.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm just looking. I'd seen a couple things that probably should have been UJR, but okay. All right. We'll see you back on July 7th at 1 p.m. That's good for you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yes. So we still have. So we have.
What about the officer for Joseph Phillip? Philip Joseph.
I do have an officer present on that one.
All right.
So we just have to wait till you're done with those anyways. So it's not really.
I think this one was when me and Ms. Beck discussed that she needed to talk to him.
Okay.
there might be some other things going on.
Okay. Well, we'll bring out Philip Joseph so she can talk to him or she can step.
Is he here yet? He was an ACDC, Your Honor.
Oh, okay, he's in the ACDC. What about Bryant Wright, number 1?
Okay.
I have an officer here on that. Is he here?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry? Yeah, this is Andrew Mayo. Yeah, absolutely. I'll set that application up. Okay. All right, I will see you July 7th, okay? Take care of yourself.
I'm doing my list now, Your Honor. Last week we had a lot of officers show up. It's not as long. Two, 1, 7, 5, 2.
How are you?
All right, so this is Bryant Wallace Wright, 23 CP 217640, criminal damage to property in the 2nd degree. Can I get officer on the stand?
Yep. State would call Officer Bratton from APD.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, spell your name for the record.
The Officer Michael Bratton, first name is spelled Michael, last name is spelled Bratton.
You had to have a seat.
Go ahead, Ms. Patton.
Hi, Officer Bratton. How are you?
Good, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Where are you currently employed?
Civil Land Police Department,
And how long have you been employed there?
going on 12 years.
And were you employed there on or about April 12th, 2023?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you post-certified?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you post-certified on or about April 12th, 2023?
Yes, I was.
So how'd you become aware of the defendant in this matter?
Okay, I responded to to a call regarding damaged property at the Salvation Army, which is located at 469 Marietta Street. When I arrived on scene, I was advised by 2 witnesses who works at the Salvation Army that Mr. Wright was on scene and he was a former client at the location. He struck this vehicle with his foot. He kicked it multiple times with his foot, damaging the front driver's door. The victim is a counselor at the Salvation Army. They all stated that he became combative, reason being he was upset that he was discharged. So the witnesses advised Mr. Wright's direction of travel I located Mr. Wright at 239 Ivan Allen, which is the Marriott Hotel. They gave a description. He was tall, white male, mature, gray hair, grayish white hair, wearing all black. So I noticed he was sitting on the staircase consuming a beer can. I immediately detained him. I brought him back to the incident location for a show up. The witnesses, they positively identified him as being a suspect who kicked the victim's vehicle. And therefore, I charged him with damaged property, 2nd degree, reason being because you do an insurance claim, the deductible is going to be about $500. So there you have it.
Okay, let's go back here. So the 469 Marietta Street and the Marriott that you mentioned on Ivan Allen, are both those located in Fulton County?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and the Salvation Army, you said he was a client there. What does that mean? And he was discharged?
Yeah, he's a former client. He was discharged. They didn't advise why he was discharged, but they indicated that he was combative, that he was very upset for being discharged. So therefore, he committed the damages to the property, to the vehicle.
Okay. And when you located Mr. Wright at the Marriott, what was his demeanor?
Somewhat intoxicated because he was drinking some beer cans, and I noticed there was a can of beer on the staircase. And he was a little evasive at first, but yet I was still able to put him in handcuffs and bring him back to location.
Okay. So how do you know he was intoxicated? I know you mentioned that there was a beer can, but how do you know, people who drink are not always intoxicated. So how do you know he was intoxicated?
He displayed a slurred speech. He had a smell of beer from his breath, and he was insinuating some terroristic threats.
Was he hostile towards you?
No, he wasn't hostile towards me. No.
Okay. Did he ever threaten you at any point?
No, ma'am, he didn't.
Did anybody at the Salvation Army advise that he threatened anyone there?
Nobody advised that. They only advised that he just damaged the vehicle by kicking it. That was it.
Okay. Was there any footage at the Salvation Army location?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you take a look at that footage?
Yes, I did, just to get an idea of what area of the vehicle that was damaged, and it was the front driver door.
From that footage, were you able to see the person kicking the car?
Oh, no, just when I interviewed the witnesses. I asked them for the footage, but they haven't provided. But my probable cause were the witnesses, two witnesses who indicated the act that he committed, and also looking at the damages and the physical description they gave his direction of travel. So,
okay. You said you brought him back to the Salvation Army and the witnesses identified him. They identified him by pointing at him or confirming to you verbally, like, yes, this is the person.
Yeah, they did. And it was minor altercation with him and towards them.
He was still hostile towards them?
Yeah, he was hostile, yeah.
Okay. Did they observe this defendant damage the vehicle?
Yes, they did.
Okay. And how many people would you say you spoke to when you got there?
I spoke to roughly 3 people, but I was able to get names of 2 of them.
Okay. And what were those names?
First name is, let me see, I'm looking at my report.
And you're looking down, please let the court know what it is you're looking down at.
Oh, okay, I'm looking at the police report that I composed as of April 12th of this year. The first person I spoke with is Clarice Taylor and also Earl Rios. And they're both employees of the Salvation Army.
Okay. Is the person who you arrested and the person who was identified by the witnesses, are they present in this courtroom?
Yes, ma'am.
And feel free to stand if you need to. Please let me know if they are on my left or on my right and identify them with an article of clothing.
Over to your right, wearing it's like a black jumpsuit with a gray shirt underneath, white Caucasian male, slender built, goatee, salt and pepper hair, mostly grayish.
Okay. Please let the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant, Mr. Wright.
All right, record will so reflect.
And you stated that you gave him the charge of criminal damage to property in the 2nd degree, which is a felony based upon the insurance calculation.
Yes, ma'am. Insurance calculation and the damages to the front driver door.
And where did you get that information from?
This knowledge training experience based on incidents I've responded to in the past. A vehicle has been damaged, and usually the victims are very upset because they indicate they have to pay either $500 to $1,000 deductible.
Okay. And what was the damage to the vehicle? What did you observe exactly?
I observed there was multiple dents on the front driver door.
Okay. And how big would you say the dents were? Like about 1 foot or 2 feet, or what would the?
I would say roughly about 6 inches to 1 foot, but there was multiple impacts. As you can see.
Did anyone ever indicate to you that the car had been dented prior to the defendant kicking the car?
No, I spoke to the owner and she indicated that those were new damages, not pre-existing.
Okay. And what type of car was it?
It was it's a Fiat. Let me see. Yeah, Fiat 500.
Do you know or ever do any research on the cost of a Fiat?
I would say roughly $40,000 to $50,000.
Okay. Did you ever do any research on how much the parts of a Fiat are to fix or anything like that?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Is there anything else that you learned during your investigation that we have not covered here today?
I believe that I covered all the statements that I want to present to the court. And there's nothing further.
Okay. That's it. No further questions for this witness.
All right, Cross.
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning.
Hey, morning.
You were the first officer to respond to the call?
Yes, I was first, but there was also another officer who responded.
Who was the other officer?
Officer Crawford.
CRA?
Yeah,
Okay.
CRA. WFORD.
What time did the call come in?
Approximately 9 o'clock in the morning.
What time did you arrive on scene?
I arrived at roughly 9:02. I was going license sirens to the call.
Okay. And did you arrive with Officer Crawford or were you guys driving separately?
We drive separate vehicles.
How did Miss Clarice Taylor describe the suspect?
She described him as being a slender built, Caucasian male, mature, wearing all black and a black hat.
And she knew him from his involvement in the program?
Yes, ma'am.
Did she identify him by name?
Yes, she did. She did provide me with his name.
Was her statement oral or written?
It was oral, and I had a recording body worn camera.
And has that body worn camera been submitted into evidence?
Yes, ma'am.
Was the statement from Earl Rios taken, were they together when they made their statements?
They were both at the same location. They were both at the same location, yes.
Were they standing next to each other while they gave their statements?
Yes, they were.
Did he also recognize Mr. Wright?
Yes, he did.
Did he also identify him as by name?
I can't really recall, but he did. They both pointed out Mr. Wright.
Were there, sir, you said there were surveillance cameras at the location. Have you viewed those?
I haven't viewed them. They didn't have it available for me at the time. So I advise them whenever they do have it available to notify 911 dispatcher.
Do you know if they've done that yet?
I'm not exactly sure.
Okay. For the value of the car, you stated that it's going to be about $500. Do you remember saying that?
As far as the insurance deductible, the damages, I can't really advise in particular what it could be, but as far as if somebody can't afford to pay for damages, they have to rely upon the insurance company. So the deductible would be at $500.
Do you know if that's true for every policy?
I just know based on my knowledge, training, experience, the deductibles usually range from $500 to $1,000.
Do you have training in insurance claims?
No, I don't.
Okay. You said there was multiple dents to the driver's door. How many?
I'd say roughly.
If you don't know, that's fine. Don't guess.
I can give you a range, like roughly.
If you don't know, that's fine. You just have to say that you don't know.
Okay, roughly 4 to 6 dents,
Okay.
all at the same area of impact.
And it was just to the driver door?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you followed up? What is the victim's name?
Can I look at my report?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, thank you. Sorry. The victim's name is Amber Anderson. Middle name is Olivia.
Have you followed up with her about the cost of the dents to the door?
No, I didn't.
Is that something that, like, how normally in an investigation, how do you go forward with this kind? Like, to figure out how much it actually cost?
Well, I just went based on my personal experience and hearing of other subjects' experience regarding insurance deductibles and viewing the magnitude of the damages. So therefore, I came up with roughly $500 or more.
I got you. Normally in an investigation though, would you speak to the complaining witness to figure out how much they actually paid?
To get damages repaired?
Yes.
Well, really, that's their insurance company. So the insurance company, I mean, like I said, the deductible usually go from 500 to 1,000. I didn't contact the insurance company based on how much the damages actually cost to repair per se.
Did you contact Miss Amber Anderson?
No, I didn't after the incident, no.
Okay, so this happened back in April
Yeah, April 12th.
and you haven't had any contact with her since?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone in your department?
Not to my knowledge.
Do you know if she's gotten the door fixed?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. Did the door still open?
Is it still open?
Yes.
I'm not sure if it still opens or not. I just observed the damages.
Could the car still run?
It's possible it could run, but there were cosmetic damages done to the vehicle, nothing mechanical.
Okay. So you have no idea if she was able, Miss Amber Anderson was able to get in or out of the car via that door?
Via that door, no, I'm not exactly sure about that.
Did you speak to her that day?
Yes, I did.
What insurance company did she have?
I don't know what insurance company she has because she wasn't involved in the car accident.
Okay, thank you. No further questions.
All right, anything else on direct?
Yes, really briefly. Officer Bratton, you mentioned a little bit with Ms. Beck about your training and experience, and I know you told me you'd been working for 12 years. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And how many damaged vehicles would you say you've seen?
I've seen multiple, especially here in the city of Atlanta.
Over 50?
Probably over 500. I mean, there are a lot of damaged vehicles.
Over 500?
Yeah.
And in that case, have you had, or in those cases, have you had experience in seeing what damage to vehicles may cost?
Well, based on talking to victims, they indicate they have to pay a $500 deductible.
On those vehicles?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Nothing further. Thank you.
Anything else, Ms. Beck?
Yes, Your Honor. For those people that you've spoken to and they indicate that they've had a $500 deductible, did you actually speak to them after the incident?
No, I didn't.
So you don't know if there was a $500 deductible?
No, that's just what they advised me at the time when I was conducting an interview.
Okay. No further questions.
Anything else? Ms.
Nothing
Kate?
further. Nothing
Very good.
further.
All right, thank you, officer. Stay safe out there.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, go ahead with the argument.
Thanks for coming by.
Did you want the state or the defense to go first, Your Honor?
Whichever you guys want to do. 6 of 1.
Feel free.
Okay. Your Honor, the state would argue that probable cause has been met. The officer has testified that he's had a lot of experience with damage to vehicles. He also testified that there was multiple dents in the vehicle. He also testified that the Fiat probably has at least for my salary, a higher price of a car. That in itself, the parts would be over 500. He said he's dealt with this over 500 times. He identified the victim, or excuse me, he identified the victim and the defendant in this case. He had the victim and witnesses point out the defendant. He was able to ID him in court. He established venue was in Fulton County, also established that he was post-certified. All of the elements have been met for probable cause, and as such, the state would find that you find as such.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Beck.
Thank you, Your Honor. As an aside, we never established what year the fiat was, and I just Googled it, and they range from 9,000 to 16,000. So I have no idea where we got the 50,000, but that was an exaggeration at least. Additionally, for criminal damage to property in the second degree, the damage has to exceed $500. We did not hear testimony that the damage exceeded $500. I repeatedly tried to get any other form of testimony that would say that the damage was above $500. Unfortunately, the officer never followed up with the complaining witness, so we don't know what the actual cost was. He said going to be about $500 multiple times. He also said roughly $500 multiple times. Additionally, for this statute, it says it focuses on the tangible damage to the property itself, not the total expenses to the owner. I would argue that the insurance claim is not part of this. Rather, it's the actual damage cost to the car. We did not hear anything about what the cost of damage to the car was. So for that reason, I am asking the court not to find probable cause.
Right. Any follow-up for the state? Last word?
Yes, Your Honor. I just would like to point out also that the officer did testify that it was multiple dents, that they were, I think he said the minimum 6 inches, and that they were all over the driver door of the vehicle. Again, sorry, I thought I was about to sneeze. I think there's been enough to establish probable cause as a felony, being that there were multiple dents in a Fiat that he did say he had discussed with over 500 times, where the cost and damage to fix it is 500 or about 500 or over 500.
But we don't know, Your Honor, if I may, we don't know if that applies for this particular case because he never followed up, and we don't know if the person went through insurance, what the situation was.
Probable cause is a low burden at a preliminary hearing. Multiple dents in the side of a Fiat that has been identified. And, you know, well, I won't put my own experience in here, but damage over 500 is more likely than not.
Oh, I mean, it's a low burden. I'll find probable cause on that, but I'm going to address bond free trial.
This defendant has 13 arrest cycles in Georgia beginning in 1998, felony convictions in 98 for aggravated assault, 2017 for criminal damage to property, failure to appear in 2020, probation violations in 2012, 2018, and 2023. Nothing further to report.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Beck.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Wright is 61 years old. He has a good address at 89 Ellis Street in Atlanta. He lives there with some friends. He's a lifelong resident of Atlanta. He received his GED, and prior to his arrest, he was working a variety of side jobs, mostly doing contracting and landscaping. We are asking a bond not to exceed $4,000, Your Honor.
All right, what says the state?
Pretrial, when was the last arrest? I think you said 2013. I just wanted to make sure I had it correct.
You said the last arrest?
Yes, please.
Bear with me. Okay, so the last arrest that I'm showing is 2018 for a probation violation.
Underlying charge listed.
No, the underlying charges are listed on this one.
Okay, Your Honor, the state would consent to a $4,000 bond with the stay away from that Salvation Army location and no further contact with the 2 victims listed.
All right, Ms. Beck. You're
Yes,
good?
we would,
You would
obviously be okay with the 4,000. I would just ask, never mind. Yes, 4,000 is perfect.
All right, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no further contact with Amber Anderson. Stay away from 469 Marietta Street. And it'll be a $4,000 good bond. Best of luck to you, sir. Is Philip Joseph here, Ms. Beck's client? Do we have an officer for that one?
We do have an officer for Philip Joseph. But Your Honor, that's the one where I think there might be something else going on. So I'm not even sure if Ms. Beck's gonna really be able to get through. I also think she indicated his family would be present.
Okay. Well, we can at least rock and roll and knock it out before she has to leave, which is short.
Okay.
It'll be Mr. Pizzoli. Mr. Pizzoli.
Could you put that down? Maybe number.
How about Darren Farmer?
Have an officer here for that as well.
What did LT say? Yeah.
They said he's there.
Okay, Darren Farmer.
This was just probable cause. Okay. Yep.
It's gonna be about 10 minutes, Judge.
All right, what about on Philip Joseph? So Miss Beck could,
Is Philip Joseph there?
You back there?
Okay, he's a landlord too.
I believe the last two we're waiting on aren't present.
What about tomorrow's signs? What's going on with him?
Position was he?
so we have, all we have is position 3, 5, and Miss Beck's Philip Joseph. So we have Sykes.
Position, I'm ready for position 5.
Yes.
Okay, we can bring 5 out.
For Mr. Williams, Mr. Pizzoli is sending me the letter now.
Okay. So we're bringing out Sykes, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you want me to just show you or do you want me to send it to you?
You can send it to me just so I can
Absolutely.
upload it to Odyssey. Thank you.
All right, this is Kamari Sykes, position 5, 23 CP 217654, Kamari Sykes, aggravated battery. Go ahead, Miss Patton.
Yes, Your Honor, the state would be asking for a one-time reset for this case. I do believe subpoenas were sent out, but we needed to locate the officer to see what's going on. It's for Sandy Springs, R. Floyd, badge number 383.
All right, go ahead, Miss Beck.
Yes, Your Honor, we'd be asking for a dismissal for one of prosecution.
All right, we'll go ahead and give one reset for the officer to appear. Miss Watts.
This case was scheduled for July 11th at 9 a.m.
July 7th, 9 a.m.
11.
Okay.
I just sent it to you.
Okay, thank you.
So the officer didn't show up. Do you have any other questions? Let's look. Really, right, or Williams? Yes, just brief, like, I just got the acceptance letter, so we should be able to bring him out again and then we can be done. So 1, 2, 3 weeks, yes. Was that everything for Mr. Sykes, Your Honor?
I think that's it for him, right? Do we have, so Mr. Sykes, do we have,
Can we bring out, I'm sorry, can we bring out Mr. Williams briefly? Just to, because I got the acceptance letter for his bond.
sure, they bring him up.
Thank you. Thank you. Williams? Willie Williams?
That's fun.
Did you receive it?
I haven't even looked. I've been
Oh,
working.
okay.
Oh, give me one. I'm sorry.
No, you're okay. I just want to make sure. Gone through.
Trying to do stuff for the other calendar. Okay. Yes, I do see it.
Okay.
From living, we are living proof. They have a bed. Do you know if they monitor them, just out of curiosity?
I honestly don't.
Okay.
I can ask.
When they bring him out, so she could, let me, I'm gonna step away for 1 second, okay, folks?
Okay.
Yes. Yes. What time? Mhm. Mhm. For different stuff, for different charges. So we got the letter, so we should be good. I understand your frustration. That is very frustrating. Yes. So we got this. Okay, so it says they're not allowed to go off property unless accompanied by a staff member during the first month.
Okay. I was just wondering.
During the first phase.
It looks like it's 5 phases,
Yes,
and it's for substance abuse.
that's correct. Yes.
Okay.
And it's a 6-month program. I'm
And
not
that-
sure how long the first phase is.
But they have to stay in.
The first month, they're not allowed to go off property. Okay, I keep saying the first month. The first phase, they're not allowed to go off property.
Okay. And it just depends on how long the phase is, depending on them.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm assuming. Oh, wow. That's really cool. Mhm. Mhm. That's good. Mhm. That's really exciting.
I think the judge said she was going to grant a UJR to the program.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So not even me, but she is. So
Cool. So hopefully we get a huge here to the program, which just means you sign saying that whenever we get a summons to court for this, if and when it's indicted, that you'll come back. So you promise not to come
But you would be going to. For a moment, so when she comes back, we'll be able to.
So the preliminary hearing is only for people who are still locked up. So once you're released, you won't need a preliminary hearing. Okay, so you wouldn't have to worry about this one.
All right, sorry about that, guys. I had another judge calling me. Okay, so did you already speak with him? So what we'll do is if Ms. Patton, you got that letter, right?
Uh-huh.
You see it, sir? Are you good with? Does the letter suffice?
Well, I was doing a 4,000 and then to the letter, but last time we were here, you said you would do a UJR to the letter, so.
Well, I mean, typically, yeah, what I do, I think, and Ms. Beck knows this, is I set money or UJR. Because sometimes, and sir, not that it will, sometimes stuff falls through and it doesn't go through. So if they don't come and get you and something happens, you don't get into the program for whatever reason, no bed space, whatever, then at least you have a money amount out there. So if something falls through, you're not sitting there in no bond status. I think, does that make sense? Sir?
Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, no, that's okay. Because I'd hate for something to fall through and then you sit there in no bond status and then until you can get back in front of me or in front of someone. So we'll just do that. Then, I'm sorry, and remind me, this is Williams, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Willie Williams, yes, Your Honor.
So Ms. Miller, on his, could you make it that or UJR to that program?
Yes, Judge. Normally, would you guys know who would be picking him up?
Oh, I guess Mr. Cazzoli will do a letter, right? I mean, an order for.
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, so Mr. Cazzoli will send a separate transport order of who will pick him up and things like that. And once he sends that, I'll sign it. So, Mr. Williams, it may take a little bit because Mr. Cazzoli, I think he's in court. He'll have to find out who will be transporting and he'll send another order, but we'll get it done as quickly as we can, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I mean,
All right, best of luck to you, sir.
So is she transported with?
Excuse me,
Bless you. So
Thank
I think
you.
we're just waiting on,
the two people from other places to be transported.
so Philip Joseph was also at ACDC?
Correct.
it's probably gonna take about a week, only because of jail. Okay, but he'll do that today. It's just.
I ain't in a rush. It's a blessing. It's a blessing.
Okay, do you have any other questions?
Miss Manning. Judge Manning, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Absolutely, sir. Do good, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So is it 10 minutes LT on both of the last people?
She just went in the back.
Oh, okay. Is your guy, is he? I didn't know if he was at ACDC or not.
Joseph,
Joseph, uh-huh.
he's at ACDC, yes.
Yes. Okay. And you're still about to have to leave, right?
Yes, Mr. Lang told me that he would text me when they're ready for me, but they're not ready yet. But
Okay.
maybe we'll get done before then. That would be amazing.
Yeah. It's a lofty goal.
I'm a dreamer.
Hey, we're almost there. Close.
Philip? Yeah, if possible.
You want to talk to him in the back first?
I would like to try, yes, Your Honor.
Okay, yeah. If you just tell LT, you can talk to him in the back.
Okay, thank you.
They bring him out. That way nothing will be picked up on the live mic.
Oh, for sure. It's right out to the left.
Oh, Miss Beck, Miss Beck, she's talking. Miss Beck, just quickly, I don't know if, so tonight you have Mr. Ivy, but he had a UJR. Is something holding him?
I'm hoping that he was released today.
Okay, if not, we'll see if we can't figure out.
If not, I'm gonna cry. So.
Okay.
And he wasn't, so.
Oh, he wasn't? It was a program though. Wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
But they're just not coming. I mean, yeah, May 3rd, that's a long time. Been like 20 days.
Yes, there was issues with the transport order. I think it was the jail or the sheriff's department. They changed the amount of notice that they need. So I gave 4 days and they needed 5. So I tried to do it again. And then I went on vacation and apparently I messed up to the date. So then Ms. Markowitz tried to fix it. It's been a whole thing. I was hopeful that he's not there, but
because the other transport order I signed was on the 14th. Okay. Well,
yes.
Did they need to pull him? We'll pull him tonight so you can at least tell him. How about that?
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Six, 7, 8.
He said that was okay if we do like 10,000 for him to be released to that facility.
Is he competent?
Yes, he's like, he knows what's happening sometimes. And I but like, in jail is not for them.
Yeah, I can do 10,000 and release to the nursing home.
Okay. He's probably gonna have to go home. I don't wanna like mislead you. He's probably just gonna have to go home first, just because he's gonna have to like get evaluated from them. And then I was told there's like a 1 to 2 week process.
Well, I don't know how
She's
they
okay
can
with
do
that.
that.
Do what?
I don't know how the judge would be able to word that in a
If
order.
we just did a
Just 10,000.
10,000.
And then
His
as a
family-
requirement of bond.
Yes, to go
to that program?
to whichever one they're able to get him into.
Okay.
Does
I-
that make sense?
Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure they can do it as a bond order.
Okay.
Okay.
Is Mr. Joseph? It is. All right, let's see. It's 23 CP 217676. Philip Joseph, terroristic threats and acts. Go ahead, Ms. Patton.
We are just waiting to hear from pretrial to hear the history. Based upon the history, me and Ms. Beck might have come to an agreement.
All right, pre-trial.
Okay, this defendant has 2 arrest cycles in Georgia, beginning in 99 with no convictions.
Anything else in any other state?
Double checking. No, I don't see anything in any other states.
And last arrest, please.
Last arrest. East Point, 2022, it looks like death by shoplifting. Let me double check that this is the correct Philip Joseph.
Okay, sure.
'Cause this date of birth looks funny. Give me one moment, I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, this is not right.
I have the GCIC if you would like.
Well, I'm just looking at
Okay,
the.
I have the last arrest was 99. Looks like a DUI, misdemeanor DUI.
The problem I'm having is the warrant is stating that court ordered rehab after being arrested for simple battery and simple assault family violence.
Okay, I have a 2023 March of simple assault family violence out of Alpharetta.
You have
And
a
that is
case,
showing still open.
you have a case number?
Let me go to Odyssey. '23 CR 001430E.
Thank you.
Mhm.
1 second, Your Honor. I'm just looking
Sure.
up to see who the victim was in that case. Wait. That case number was for the arrest we're here on today. I'm still not seeing this simple assault family violence.
Okay, I have a 23-1140.
As another case number?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and say that one.
It just says 23-1140.
Oh, no, no, that's, see what that does. Okay, here we go. Okay. Ms. Beck, I'm gonna need to pre-try with you again. But I'm a month prior to this incident.
But this is what she wants. I'm to go to the facility.
Have you talked?
Yep. Numerous times. She wasn't on the call, but she. And I can give her a call if we have it.
Yeah, I mean, I can only do it based on like what she wants, but other than that, I can't.
I can show you all email she wants him to go to, specifically Ridgeview is the one that she's found.
Because I can't.
It's like an animal care facility or something.
That's exactly what it is.
She wants him to be there because they can actually provide like health and stuff.
Okay, all right, well then,
I've looked at the power of attorney form, and she has the ability.
just send it to me and then I'll put on the record, then I'll do it based on that.
Okay.
Your Honor. The state has come to an agreement in exchange for a waiver of the preliminary hearing today. The state has agreed to lower this defendant's bond from $50,000 to $10,000 for the terroristic threats and acts. This is solely based upon the fact of Ms. Beck's assertion, and take her at her word for it. She's happy to provide me evidence that the victim has contacted her in regards to this defendant and stated that this defendant, she wants him to be interviewed for certain facilities, and that she would be amenable to a $10,000 bond so long as he can go to those facilities. Ms. Beck has informed me that the interview process probably is about 2 weeks. So I'm not certain exactly how that would be worded, but I guess as a bond condition, we would request that he need to attend and be admitted into the facility that I guess he's being interviewed for.
Do we have any idea, a name of it, the facility, or is it?
I believe the one she wants is Ridgeview.
Okay. Ms. Beck?
Yes, Your Honor. So I have spoken with the complaining witness a lot. It is his wife, and she does not want him to continue to sit in jail. She wants him to go to a facility because of some health issues that he's experiencing. I did just send ADA Patton the power of attorney form that Ms. Phillip had sent to me, showing that she has the power of attorney to require that he go to this facility, or that she's able to make those decisions for him because of his diminishing health. So I just forwarded, there's like 4 pictures for them. So we are asking for a $10,000 bond, and the family, I've spoken with both of his children as well, his brother and his wife. They're all very active, very on board to get him into a facility. Specifically, they've looked at Ridgeview, and that's the one that they seem to be leaning towards. But I don't want to pigeonhole them into Ridgeview. So if we could just have it be a facility that they
An inpatient facility?
It's for like dementia and just like,
Sure.
yes. So I don't know if it's I don't know how to word it.
It's inpatient.
Yes. So he would be living there.
Okay, so we still going with no further contact?
She doesn't want that, is what she told me. She wants contact with him because she told me that it's her husband. And that she wants to be able to visit him at the facility and to get him in there. The sons are, again, very on board. One of them lives out of state, and he said that he would come down and help make that move for Mr. Joseph.
So what if we put contact with the victim if she initiates it? How's that?
That's perfect. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, so it'll be, and there's a waiver behind Mrs. Watts. There should be some up there unless we stole them all the other day. There should be some for you to waive. So it'd be no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 730 Anna Lane. And no further contact with, she was on here. It's
NATO.
yeah, Naitho Philip, unless she can make the contact. So she can make any contact with him that she does. As long as she initiates it. But sir, you can't call her, okay?
Sign there and date there. Your Honor, can we have an exception for that address? That is where
Is where he's gonna live.
that's where he will live in the meantime till she can get him to
So as long as she's fine with it. So if she consents and allows him to live there, so it's kind of based on her, the alleged victim. If she's fine with him living there, then he can live there.
okay, that's perfect. Thank you, Your Honor.
And, let's see, how about, and he has to get into Ridgeview or another inpatient facility. He has to go well, it's not really complete it, but go participate and enter into an inpatient facility, Ridgeview or any other inpatient facility. Does that make sense, Ms. Miller?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, all right.
Your Honor, may my officer be excused, Officer Butler?
Yes, thank you, Officer Butler. Well, is he, who's here on Darren Farmer?
That's
Thank you, Your Honor.
Detective Hunter.
Okay. All right, thank you, officer. Stay safe. Now, Darren Farmer, last case.
He's coming by.
So Your Honor, we decided on 10,000 to the program.
Right, 10,000.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
Sure.
Ms. Beck, could you just send me an email stating that you spoke to her? So I can upload it. Thanks. You don't have anything on here on him.
What was that?
You don't have the state versus. I'll write it in.
That, but Farmer.
And this one has a $10,000 good bond. All right, Detective, do you raise your right hand? Do you swear a firm testimony you're about to give is the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you state, spell your name for the court reporter.
Detective K Hunter, that's Hunter.
All right, and we stand by till we get the defendant. There it is. All right, so this is position 3, 23 CP 217644, Darren Farmer, 70 days without indictment. There's a $10,000 good bond, tampering with evidence, felony. Go ahead, Ms. Patton.
Good morning, Detective Hunter.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm hanging in there. Thank you for asking. Where are you currently employed?
Marta Police Department.
And how long have you been employed there?
It's going on 7 years.
Okay. And were you employed there on or about April 11th of 2023?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you post-certified?
Yes, ma'am.
And were you post-certified on or about April 11th, 2023?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And how did you come in contact with the defendant?
Well, actually, I was on call. We had got a call in for a shooting that occurred at Ashby Station, which is 65 Joseph E. Lowry Boulevard. I responded to the location, to the scene. When I got to the scene, we had a black male laying face down with a gunshot wound to the head. Pretty much throughout the investigation, it was a homicide investigation. I was the lead detective on. During the process of the crime scene, also Mr. Farmer came prior to uniform getting there, walked down the stairs where the victim was laying, picked up a handgun that was laying next to the victim. As well as all this is caught on CCTV. I was able to ID Mr. Farmer as the suspect who picked up that handgun from the scene before the crime scene was established, before uniform officers arrived.
Okay, so let's go back here a little bit. You said that this was at a station on 65 Joseph E. Lowry Boulevard, correct?
Yes.
Is that here in Fulton County?
Yes.
Okay, so you were called out for a homicide.
Yes.
Did the defendant have anything to do with the homicide?
Not that we know of, no.
Okay. When you got there, you said you saw a deceased individual?
Yes.
Okay, face down. Did you ever see Mr. Farmer at any point when you arrived?
No, I did not.
Okay. And upon your investigation of this homicide, you said you found out that a firearm was used.
Yes.
Did you do an investigation as to where the firearm had went?
Yes.
Okay. And you also mentioned that there was footage at the MARTA station. And did you review the footage? Did you review the footage?
Yes.
And does the footage have timestamps on the footage?
Yes, it does.
Okay. And did you find any footage on or about April 11th, 2023?
Yes.
And in that footage, what did you see?
In that footage from the beginning of the footage was there was a male standing at the bottom of the stairs at Ashby Station. Another male walked up to him, kind of like they knew each other, talking to each other. Right about that, I could go back to my report to get exact times, but around 4:16 hours, two other males, another male came from down the stairs and another male came from around the corner with firearms drawn and attacked my deceased victim, which is Charles Parkins.
Okay. But he's not necessarily related to this specific case, correct?
No, he's the only way he's related to the case because he actually picked up the firearm that was on scene.
The defendant did?
Yes.
Okay. But the only way you even know about the defendant is because of this homicide that you don't believe the defendant had anything to do with.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you're watching the footage and what do you see next?
So watching the footage after we see the altercation take place, my victim, Mr. Perkins, he fell to the ground, like I said, face down. The three other suspects ran up the stairs. Right after those three suspects ran up the stairs, Mr. Farmer came seen walking down the stairs, looked around, leaned down, picked up the firearm that was directly behind my victim, and walked back up the stairs.
Okay. And is this footage, is it in color? Is it in black and white?
It's in color.
Is there any audio?
No.
Okay. Were you able to get a clear picture of the person who picked up the gun?
Yes.
Is that person in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Please stand up if you need to. Identify if he's on my left or on my right, and identify him with an article of clothing.
Okay, he's on your right-hand side. He has a blue jumpsuit on with can't tell if it's a gray or white sweater underneath it with a goatee. Okay.
Please let the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant, Mr. Farmer.
All right, record will so reflect.
Okay. So after you watch this video and you identify the person who picked up the gun, did you do an affidavit for an arrest?
Well, after I viewed the CCTV footage, we put out a description of all the suspects that was involved, as well as Mr. Farmer. While I was still processing the crime scene, one of my other uniform officers observed Mr. Farmer upstairs, street level, walking back in the area.
Okay.
At that time, that officer did detain Mr. Farmer from the description that we had put out earlier.
Okay. let's go back a little bit with, you said he picked up a gun. As far as you know, did this case with this homicide in any way relate to Mr. Farmer?
No.
Okay. And had police arrived on scene prior to Mr. Farmer being there?
Well, I'm not sure how long Mr. Farmer has been. Well, through the interview, he was there for a little while, but police did arrive on scene after the call came out. Police arrived on scene the incident occurred roughly probably about 4:16 hours.
Okay. I phrased that wrong, so forgive me. Was a crime scene established or cut off
Okay.
prior to Mr. Farmer picking up the gun?
No, not at that time. No.
Okay. So, sorry, my allergies are acting up today. Okay. So you see Mr. Farmer picking up the gun, and did you see what he did with it after it?
Yes, he placed it in his waistband and then walked up the stairs, exit out the station.
Okay. When he was detained, was that firearm found on him?
No, it was not.
Okay. Did you see on any footage what he might have done with the firearm?
No, we did not.
Okay.
We did do an interview with him though.
Okay. And what did he?
He stated that, I'll give you a second. He stated that a black male came up to him and told him, "Give me my partner's gun," or I can't exactly remember, but he pretty much told me, "Give me my partner's gun." And Farmer said he gave it to whoever that unknown suspect was, with the identification, I believe it was like with a red jacket or something. I believe what Mr. Farmer said through an interview. We didn't see that anywhere on CCTV cameras at all, anybody with a red jacket.
But he stated to you, someone told him to go get the gun.
He stated that he went and got the gun. When he got the gun, he said that somebody came up to him while he was upstairs, I guess walking on the street level, and told him, "Give me the gun, give me my partner's gun."
Oh, so he, according to his own volition, he had picked up the gun prior to knowing, or prior to someone stating that it was their partner's gun.
Yes.
When you look on the footage, is the firearm located near your victim's body?
Yes, it is.
How close in distance would you say it was?
I would say approximately a foot.
Okay.
It was directly behind Mr. Perkins on the ground.
And you said it was face down?
Yes. Kind of face down on the side, but his head was was right on like the first step.
I'm not going to ask you if he knew he was dead, because that's a hard thing to even speculate to. But would you say, by your own experience, it was clear that the victim was injured, at least severely?
Yes.
Was there blood around?
Yes, the polluted blood around his head area.
Okay. From your vantage point, is there any way that Mr. Farmer couldn't have seen that this person was injured?
No, the stairs that Mr. Farmer came down was the stairs directly at the bottom of that staircase, was directly where my victim was.
Okay. And it was a view of the victim.
Yes.
Okay. Did Mr. Farmer ever indicate to you any other reason as to why he had taken that firearm?
No.
Did you let him know what had happened? That
Yes.
a homicide had occurred?
Yes.
And what was his response to that?
I can't recall, to be honest with you. It's through the interview though, but I can't recall
Okay.
exactly what his
Is that
response
interview recorded?
Yes, it is.
And has it been submitted for evidence?
Yes, it has.
Okay, so Mr. Farmer has been charged with a felonious tampering with evidence. And what was your probable cause basis for that charge?
Viewing CCTV footage, him coming down the stairs after the incident occurred, picking up the gun, placing it in his waistband, exiting out the station with the firearm.
Okay. And again, this was not his case that he was a part of, the homicide.
At that time, no, we have not came across that he was anywhere a part of that.
Have you subsequently found out he was a part of the homicide?
No, we have not.
Okay. So he has nothing to do with the case.
Yes, no.
Okay. Is there anything else you learned during your investigation that we've not covered here today?
Involving Mr. Farmer, no. But there's lots of that was
Involving the homicide. Okay.
Yes.
Understood. And you did state this was in Fulton County, correct?
Yes,
And you were able to identify Mr. Farmer from the video, correct?
yes, the clothing he was wearing.
And you are post-certified, correct? And you were at that time?
Yes.
Okay, nothing further.
All right, Cross.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And I'm sorry, I missed your name. What was it?
Kay Hunter, Hunter.
Detective,
Yes,
correct?
detective, yes.
Thank you. How soon after the homicide did Mr. Farmer, was he seen going down the stairs?
Right after the homicide.
Like,
Within a minute or so.
okay. And were there other people around?
Yes, there was other people around, yes.
About, like, was it a crowded?
I responded after the fact, like I said, I was called into it, so I'm not sure exactly. I believe we have 2 witness statements that was uploaded for evidence. But I'm not sure exactly how much after that was. It was in our model station, which it was trains running at that time. So I'm not sure exactly how much other witnesses was there.
Okay, about what time did this happen?
Approximately 4:16. Well, the call came about 4:16 p.m.
When you watch the CCTV, does it look like there's a lot of people, a lot of movement?
While I watched CCTV, no, there was not a lot of movement. I viewed CCTV. I won't say maybe a couple of people the witnesses that went up top, but other than that, the station was cleared.
At the, like, prior to the actual shooting, was it a busy station?
It was one of our busiest stations, but no, it was not busy at that time.
Okay, were there children around?
No. A train actually just came in and unloaded.
Do the 2 witnesses see Mr. Farmer go and pick up the gun?
No.
Did
They're
anyone?
witness of the homicide.
Okay. Did anyone see Mr. Farmer go and pick up the gun?
Yeah, I seen it via CCTV, yes.
Okay, but that's just on TV, nothing, no in person?
Yes.
Okay. How were you able to identify Mr. Farmer?
With his clothing that he had on.
How so?
I can't recall exactly the clothing at this time, but it's on CCTV. It is in evidence. What I do remember one thing is the shoes was one of the things that actually stood out.
In what way?
I want to say it was like a blue pair. If I can remember, it might be like a blue pair of shoes with like a white sole, I believe. And the clothing matched it was like dark clothing, I believe.
Okay. And where did you find Mr. Farmer in comparison to the station?
Like I said, I was still processing crime scene when he was detained upstairs.
Okay.
Upstairs from the station, from the incident.
Okay. So he was found fairly quickly then?
Yes.
Okay. But at that time, he didn't have the firearm on him?
Yes.
When you see Mr. Farmer on the CCTV, had the crime scene started to be secured?
No, officers was not there at that time. Not yet.
Okay.
They was being dispatched.
Who made the determination that the firearm was part of the homicide investigation?
The gun was right next to my victim.
Was it the victim's gun?
Unknown at this time.
Oh, okay. Have you found the gun yet?
No, we have not.
I know you said at that time you didn't believe that Mr. Farmer was connected to the homicide, but since then you still don't have any reason to believe that he's connected to this homicide?
No, we don't.
Okay. Was Mr. Farmer arrested at the MARTA station?
Yes, he was street level.
Give me one moment, I'm sorry. Was the CCTV footage uploaded to evidence?
Yes, it was.
And were you wearing body cam at this time?
Yes.
Was that uploaded as well?
Yes.
All right, thank you. No further questions.
Anything else from the state?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Detective. Stay safe out there.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, go ahead with the argument.
I'm happy to go first, if that's okay with you, Ms. Beck.
Yep.
Okay, I believe probable cause has been established. I was specifically looking at the statute as to what differentiates tampering with evidence as a misdemeanor from a felonious one. I asked the witness several times about whether or not this was his case, as in the defendant's case. And one of the things that differentiates it is tampering with evidence of another's case as to that's why it's a felony. If it were his own case, it would be a misdemeanor. The witness has established that this defendant had nothing to do so far as he knew then, so far as he knows now with this homicide. The witness did testify to the fact that this did happen in Fulton County. He was able to identify the defendant from CCTV footage. Also, in terms of evidence as to the firearm with the homicide, a homicide had occurred. This firearm was found directly, I believe the witness stated, within a foot of the victim. I believe probable cause is a low burden, and I believe probable cause has been established for this defendant in a felonious tampering with evidence. The state would ask that the judge or this court find as such. Thank you.
Go ahead, Ms. Beck.
Thank you, Your Honor. The tampering with evidence statute requires that it have the intent to prevent the apprehension or cause the wrongful apprehension of any person or to obstruct the prosecution. As ADA Patton stated, the witness stated several times that Mr. Farmer was not involved in, it does not seem that Mr. Farmer is not involved with this case. Because it doesn't seem like he was involved with this case, it would seem likely that if he were the one to have taken the gun, he wouldn't have done it to prevent the apprehension or to obstruct the justice of the apprehension for this person. We are asking the court not to find probable cause because it doesn't seem that the state has met the burden, because it doesn't seem that Mr. Farmer took this with the intention to prevent apprehension.
Can I respond?
Okay.
Or may I respond rather?
Sure.
The statute also does say to prevent apprehension or prosecution. The witness testified that the defendant himself stated, my homeboy said to come give me his gun, or I can't remember the quote exactly, but I believe probable cause again has been found in that even after he took the gun, he stated that he knew it was related to somebody else and not him. The witness also stated that the gun was found very close in proximity to a homicide victim. That in itself, again, I believe establishes enough for probable cause with the intent to prevent apprehension or prosecution.
All right, I'll find probable cause on that tampering with evidence. There's a $10,000 good bond. Pre-trial.
This defendant has 1 arrest cycle in Georgia, 4 in DC/Maryland. A misdemeanor conviction in 2018 of malicious destruction of property, no felony convictions. An FTA in 2019 and a probation violation in 2019. Nothing further to report.
Go ahead, Ms. Beck.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Farmer is 24 years old. He's engaged. He only lived here in Georgia for the last month. He came here for work opportunities. He has 4 children. He is a high school graduate. Prior to his arrest, he was working part-time doing home improvement work. I don't have the address right now for him. He has a brother that lives here in Atlanta, but Mr. Cazzoli will be filing a change of address for him for that address. We are asking for a bond not to exceed $6,000, Your Honor.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Patton.
Yes, Your Honor. This defendant has a bond, which is he entitled to. The state would ask that you not lower it. Pretrial just mentioned he's got a misdemeanor charge that's similar to this one. As such, this defendant poses a significant likelihood to reoffend. He also is a multi-state offender, and as just stated by Ms. Beck, we don't even have a real address for him yet. We would ask or pose that this defendant poses as a risk of flight as well. We ask that you not lower it to not lower the $10,000 bond. However, if Your Honor is inclined to lower it above the state's objection, we ask it to be no less than $7,500 and a stay away from that MARTA station, 65 Joseph E. Lowry Boulevard.
All right, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from all MARTA stations and all MARTA property and stay away from Joseph E. Lowry Boulevard, that MARTA stations. You can't go back to any MARTA stations at all. $8,000 good bond. Best of luck to you, sir.
I'm working on finding the ADA for you. Okay.
And that should be it, right?
Yes, Your Honor, till 1.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Beck. All right, everybody, that's it. And I'll sign everything that's in the queue.
Thank you,
Thank
Judge.
you, Your Honor.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.